everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon talking Cardinals baseball on this week's Inside Pitch. Gordo, let's face it, there hasn't been a ton to celebrate for the Cardinals this season, but two things that they can say, okay, this is a good way to finish. One, they've guaranteed they won't have a losing record, which no parades thrown for that, but when you avoid back-to-back losing seasons for the first time since Stan Musial was taking at bats, that's a good thing to not have that be on your resume. Perhaps more importantly moving forward, how about the season that Ryan Helsley has had? He ties Trevor Rosenthal for single-season saves. He'll probably break that. They've got some games left to go. But it raises the question, Gordo, is what does a team like the Cardinals, where they are right now, do with an all-star elite closer who's about to make some pretty big money in his near future? Do they build the bullpen around this guy, or do they say, hey, we got to be honest where we are, try to maximize what you can get for him in a trade as they look to retool a little bit?
Yeah, I think you got to pay the guy because, let's face it, you've let some pretty good pitchers go elsewhere and do some things, not so much in the bullpen. But this is the guy you developed. He's matured. He's done everything the right way. He's got to get paid. And look at the bright side, Cardinals. You didn't make a big preemptive deal to lock in Nolan Gorman for life. You didn't make a big preemptive deal to lock in Jordan Walker for life. Good thing, because you don't know if those guys are going to be able to hit well enough to justify any sort of commitment, at least not yet. So you've dodged bullets. You've got guys coming off the payroll in a year. This is one of your own. It's about time you reward that instead of just waiting. Let's go see if we can overpay somebody who's done something in another country or maybe earlier in his career elsewhere. So I'd say take care of your own. This guy sets the tempo. You can build a bullpen around him, and that's the modern way, right?
Sure.
You need a bunch of guys, true. But having a hammer makes a big difference.
I want to applaud Ryan Helsley because I've written in the past, look, this guy, he's too good to pitch one every 3 times. Like, he's too good to go 2 days in a row without pitching. They need him to be in that traditional closer mentality, and I'll give him a ton of credit. He adopted it, he did it, he posted, he's been available. Unfortunately, you'd like to have him used less often in save opportunities because it means you're winning games by a larger amount. And credit to him, he said, I'd gladly trade this personal record for being in the postseason. But Gordo, here's my question for the Cardinals. I don't want to see Ryan Helsley get traded. I feel like they have finally unlocked the best version of him. But if you've got this elite closer, how are you going to prioritize him? Is this guy going to be pitching in the postseason next year? Is that realistic? To me, the challenge for the Cardinals shouldn't be, hey, how do you get the most out of Ryan Helsley? It's how do you build a team, how do you adjust the team this offseason to create a team that's worthy of having a closer like this? Because a team that's kind of middling, a team that doesn't really know what direction it's going, a team that's got a hodgepodge of veterans and a bunch of young guys who are trying to figure it out, they don't really have the best use for a guy like Ryan Helsley. A team that's pedaled down going to the postseason trying to win a World Series does, and they would be willing to offer a lot to be able to get that guy. So if the Cardinals don't have a clear direction of how they're going to be a playoff team next year, other than some crossed fingers and hope, well, 2 bad seasons, it can't possibly be 3, then maybe they should listen to offers to see what's out there. They have shopped him before, and if they're not clear on where they're going and how they're going to get there, then maybe they see if they can try to backfill some of the holes they have by letting him go and hoping that they can develop another pretty special high-leverage reliever. I don't want to see it happen, but to me, Ryan Helsley is kind of the microcosm in some way of which direction the Cardinals are going. If they seriously shop this guy, they're not trying to be in the postseason next year. They might hope to get there, but they're not angling to get there. They're not building to get there if you let this guy go.
Despite the massive run differential against this team, which is, amazing how they got to 500 with that run differential, this team could have won 90 games. They could have found a way to win 90 games. It's just some of the bizarre losses they suffered. So, and they're in that mushy middle is mushy, and it's a big middle in baseball. I get that. But if you're the Cardinals, don't you have to commit? Can't we find 10 more wins? Is that unreasonable to expect these guys?
Well, you have 10 more wins if your highest paid players play like the players they have been over the course of their career. You're there.
Right.
So now, what do? You have Paul Goldschmidt, free agent, you bring him back. I don't know. The youth is carrying the Cardinals through the finish line here, and I'd like to see them lean into that, but also not just stop there. Lean into that and then go get a couple guys for your rotation that are handing the ball to Ryan Helsley without some relievers holding it down in the middle more often. Go and build a kind of pitching staff around Ryan Helsley, not just a bullpen that really gets the most use out of this guy. Ryan Helsley deserves to be pitching in the postseason. He should be slamming the door in postseason games. And unfortunately, this team let him down after he stepped up and made a huge individual contribution.
The other thing, Ben, Fred, we once talked about all these outfielders the team had. Oh, I'm giving in to my chatters. Every week they're telling me they got to go get an outfielder. Yeah, they probably do. Because, I mean, all those outfielders, and you got the Mendoza line guy. So I don't know, man. Maybe they need to go get that bat, too. I don't know if Helsley can fetch that cornerstone hitter for the outfield, but they're not getting Juan Soto, so we're not going to talk about that.
If your plan is a hope and a prayer, maybe make the postseason, then do this guy a favor and trade him. And put him on a team where he can pitch well in the postseason.
Fred Bird's just put his head down.
But hopefully the Cardinals get fired up and don't stomach back-to-back postseason misses. Hey, for those keeping score, more postseason misses since 2016 than makes. That's not a team that can say it's an annual contender. We keep it real here at Inside Pitch, and we'll keep it locked at stltoday.com for all of your Cardinals coverage. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.